we just talk about how high this is? Like, why?
And you can't even lower it.
No. What kind of human? What?
Also, they should just get higher chairs. But then your knees might be hitting the table.
Whose knees? Not mine. My knees.
They obviously have not.
They haven't thought about little people.
I mean, I'm not even that little, and I am really extending my shoulders.
Listen, we're going back to our roots with this going back on our uterus. Back to the roots.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna get this out.
Cheers.
Screen, Cheers. My little Zevia.
You can leave it on. I don't care. We should get a drink sponsor for sure.
We need a drink sponsor.
Yeah.
Because, you know,
our guests need water.
They're parched. They're speaking a lot.
Something.
Coffee. I don't know.
Something. Hello.
Just us two.
I know, that's crazy. But welcome back to the Bet on Her podcast with just myself, Dana, and Geena Uringo.
I know. It's kind of weird to just be us two, but also kind of fun. I mean, obviously, we really miss Kelly, and she's been very busy. She had her first tournament as a college coach this past weekend, and UCLA ended up winning this Hawaii tournament. She did beat my Trojans in the finals, but like, I mean, I hate to say it, I'm kind of a Bruin fan now.
Because of Kelly.
Because of Kelly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm also an LMU fan because my old partner and really good friend, Angela White, is now the assistant there too. So
sick.
They had to play each other, and I think they split. Anyway, it was just cool. I like wished them both good luck. Like, good luck in your first college coaching experience. So, stoked for them.
Yeah. So it's just going to be us two today. We're just going to sort of just discuss the landscape of women in sports and women's sports in general, and a lot of exciting stuff throughout multiple different sports areas. And of course, T-Swift.
Yeah, we got some. There's been a lot that's happened, I'd say, in the past month with women's sports. Granted, over the past couple years, but for sure the past month, I think we're gonna get into a few different things that have happened.
Yeah.
Maybe share our opinions on some of them.
Yeah, and hopefully we don't offend anybody, but I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First topic.
Yeah.
Big rule change in volleyball, NC2A volleyball, is they are now allowing a double contact on the set.
Yeah.
Only if it's the contact going over the net, like across the net, they can call a double. But if it's just you're setting somebody on your team, it's legal.
Yeah. Have you seen the reels on Instagram yet?
I've been laughing at the people just being like, chucking the ball, being like, that's clean. Me as a setter, yep, that's good. And like, obviously I wasn't a setter growing up, but I can see how some of the setters now who have are either in high school, like getting recruited, or in college and like already established there, or like fresh out of college, like they've worked so hard throughout their whole career to perfect this craft. Yeah. Right? Which is not easy to do. Yeah. And I do have sympathy for them. But on the other side of the argument, right, NC2A is trying to get away from subjectivity in rulings, which I think is also a good thing because, I mean, I don't know how this is going to affect, beach volleyball too.
Do you think it will affect beach volleyball?
I think it could.
Yeah.
I mean, right now it's like you look at the international double rule call it's technically legal if it's quick out of the hands and has a little spin. It should be legal. They're more so worried about if you're lifting the ball or carrying the ball. But I just think domestically, like we just have, it is true. Like there's a lot of subjectivity, and I feel like not everybody's held to the same standard, and not every ref calls things the same. Yeah. So I'm sure that obviously I've been out of the indoor game for a while, but I'm sure that is a big factor in what they're experiencing and why they changed the rule.
Yeah. Listeners, if you're going to make a reel making fun of this new call, tag us in it, and we want to see it. I want to see it. Yeah. Because lately they've been really funny online. I know. There was one guy who was like doing a bunch of different this set where he's like tapping with both hands, and then he like passes it or sets it to his partner, and he like goes and hits it. But I was just dying at the different variations of this call. Oh yeah. So that'll be interesting to see. We should bring somebody on and see what the collegiate athletes think about this new rule.
Yeah, I mean, even just doing a poll online of like, do you agree with this? Not.
Yeah.
Obviously I know like change in general, people are opposed to it first, but then once it kind of people get used to it, they maybe agree with it more. I don't know.
Yeah.
There was one video I saw that I thought was really funny because when I was in college, and I think this goes for a lot of places where a middle blocker, not often in transition, the setter digs the ball and the middle blocker gets to set the ball. And it's just, I mean, I love my middle blockers out there, but like, half the time it's not coming out clean.
Yeah.
And, now's your time to shine.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Who needs the setter anymore?
Yeah.
Everyone's a setter.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So we'll see how it impacts the game. But yeah, or how it affects like beach volleyball for
Do we know when it goes into effect?
I think it's the start of next season. So in the fall.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's I believe it's changed for men's too, but maybe it won't go into effect till the following year. Or if it's just women. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, we should bring somebody on or ask some of our friends still involved in college and ask them what they think about it.
Yeah.
Or do you just guys, we'll just have them tag us in things.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I know. Would love to see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking more of volleyball in general, the Pro Volleyball Federation they've been having matches every week, multiple matches. Eric and myself have been very avid watchers, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we have a team favorite. We like the Supernovas.
Yeah, they're killing it.
Yeah, I know. And their attendance record is killing it.
Yeah,
too.
it was wasn't it the largest so far?
I mean, they've broken the record like 5 different times already this season.
Yeah.
And or four different times, but like the most recent one was Orlando was playing in Omaha, and it was 11,918 fans came to watch.
Yeah.
Which is great. And it's like it's smart of them to have so many of the matches in Omaha, right? Because it's a city that has a huge volleyball fan base, and they know, I mean, this time of year, it's like, it's probably cold there. There's
nothing to do. Yeah.
I mean, Nebraska's great, and it's like, it's just such a college town, and there's so much hype around their collegiate team that it just filters into this pro team, So we've been watching, and we've been super into it, and the level is really great too.
Yeah. I really like the fact that they're streaming it on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's a win. That's a huge win.
Totally. I mean, it's making it so accessible for everybody.
Yeah, no excuse.
Yeah.
Because I know that a lot of the other leagues, not leagues, but like beach volleyball, for example, you're looking at 2-3 different apps.
I know. Yeah, it can be confusing.
Yeah.
And so anybody can watch it. They typically have multiple matches each week, and they're typically around like 4 p.m. Pacific time or 7 p.m. if it's one of the California or Vegas teams.
Who do you think will make it out on top? Do you think it'll be the Supernovas?
I'm rooting for the Supernovas. And Eric always says champagne Supernovas.
Yeah, I was over at the San Diego Mojo one, and great crowd. I think it was like about 6,000.
Cool.
Which one is it? I think it's at SDSU. But it was, at first I was like a little skeptical because people just were trickling it. And then all of a sudden there was just this massive crowd. And the crowd really got into it. You'd be surprised. There were a lot of young fans, which was really cool. Drew Brees was there again.
Oh, cool.
I guess he lives in San Diego.
Yeah, he must.
It was really cool to see him and some of the other stars showing up. And some of the signs. Did you see that one sign that went viral?
Yep.
That one was really cool. But yeah, I'm really excited to see it progress. I think there's a match coming up Friday for San Diego. So if anyone is, I don't know when we're going to post this one, but February 29th, there's another match. We should go to that. Oh, no, you're out of town.
I know. Yeah. I definitely want to come down. We got to go to one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's so great because the attendance records are being broken. This sport is obviously showing promise. You have League One that's going to start up, at the end of this year. So we'll see how that works out too. But I just think that obviously it's proving like everyone watches women's sports.
Yeah.
And there's been, I think the stat is like there's been a 15% increase from last year to this year, or I should say like a year ago.
Yeah.
Of coverage of women's sports. So not like it's obviously a big jump in like the big scope of things, but it's showing so much promise. I mean, here's some numbers that I wrote down that I thought were really interesting. So Caitlin Clark broke the women's basketball all-time scoring record, and the night of that game, it had a 3.9 million viewers.
Wow.
And then Toronto versus Montreal in the Professional Women's Hockey League broke a record with 19,285 fans. Mm-hmm. Very cool. That's the one that league's Abby Rock's a part of.
Yeah. And
then let's see. For the Women's Soccer League, Arsenal set a new record against Manchester United and had 60,160 fans. And then my favorite one, remind me how to say her last name.
Sabrina Ionescu.
Sabrina Ionescu.
Ionescu,
yeah. The Romanian.
Yeah.
When she had the 3-point competition against Steph Curry, which she scored 26 points, mm-hmm. there were 5.4 million viewers.
Amazing.
Which is probably the highest viewership that the NBA All-Star Weekend has had in I don't even know how long.
Yeah.
And that just goes to show, like, bringing Sabrina on was so smart by the NBA.
Yeah.
And it's like, you think marketing strategy wise, like, they probably did it knowing that it was going to bring female viewership.
Yeah, I think that somebody, I forget who it was talking about the statistics of the NBA numbers and viewership compared to the WNBA. Mm-hmm. And they were essentially looking to boost NBA viewership because it's been on a slow decline apparently. So yeah, I mean, props to these guys for figuring that out. But what role do you think media plays in the perception of women athletics?
I mean, I think they play a huge part.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit of two things. I think that the athletes themselves, you know, their talent speaks for itself. Mm-hmm. I also think that the way the media, the coverage of it and the stories they tell are also super important and impactful. But I think you kind of like need a combination of the two for this to really flourish, which mm-hmm. it's obviously showing promise to. But I mean, yeah, but same thing without, you know, the athletes, there wouldn't be like media to cover anything. But without the media, there wouldn't be the growth and, you know, everything that the sports need.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, I agree.
So, okay. So Sabrina goes and almost like is super close competition, 3-point game against Steph Curry. But there were some comments made.
Yeah.
What were those comments made if you want to share?
So it was by just controversial comments by Kenny Smith. And he was just saying that maybe she should have shot from the WNBA 3-point line versus the NBA 3-point line. And it's like, I remember talking to someone, I go, we can't ever win. You make amazing shots. You literally get the same score as NBA players, Damian Lillard.
Who won the 3-point
26
contest.
points.
Yeah.
Match it.
She could have beaten all those other guys.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And yet still it's like, well, maybe she would have been able to beat him had she gone and done it from the 3-point line of the WNBA. Like, what is that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he definitely is getting reamed for it, which I think, you know, is totally fine because I'm sorry, she proved herself.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like it's like another round, who knows what could have happened, you know?
He also gave the excuse of, well, you know, this isn't fair because he's in season, she's not in season. Maybe she should have shot it from the 3-point line of the WNBA. And then says that would be the only way it would have been a fair contest.
I mean, give me a break. She shot 26 points.
Yeah.
Like, that's a joke, you know? So, I don't know. Kudos to her because she brought in 5.4 million viewers during that, and that's huge. And I think, you know, that's what a lot of sports need. Yeah,
and I don't know if you noticed too, Sue Bird mentioned that she goes, quote, "We needed a woman on the headsets too. So much storytelling missed."
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah, why wasn't there a female broadcaster?
I don't know.
Would have been awesome.
maybe next year.
Big miss.
Yeah.
No, I think they're talking about now, like, well, what about bringing on Caitlin Clark
Yeah.
and Sabrina versus 2 other people?
Yeah, I think that'd be great. I just think bringing more women, not just into men's sports, but just like same thing of like you see more women being hired on as like coaching positions of all these men's pro teams, whether it's baseball or football now. And I think it just shows like it's women are smart and we're capable, and like it's a good balance of power too, in a way, to have these different types of minds working together to create a winning team.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that there's a lot to be said of women getting involved. One of which is something that thought was really interesting this year with the NFL. And they are calling it the Taylor Swift effect.
Yeah.
Like, I know she's not an athlete per se, but she's a woman in sport, right?
Yeah,
Now that she's dating a pro athlete. And so here are some interesting facts that I wanted to share with you, Dana, about the boost, how she's boosted American football, basically. They call it the Swift bump.
Yeah.
Quote unquote. So from this past season, there were a 20% increase in sponsorships for the NFL. There was a 53% increase in teenage girl viewership and a 24% in 18 to 24 female viewership.
That's massive.
Yes. And then there was a 331.5 million additional brand value to the Chiefs and the NFL. And then there was a 400% increase in sales after the first Chiefs game that Taylor Swift attended.
Wow.
And then not only that, but the NFL sponsorship revenue was $2.35 billion, which was a 15% increase than last season.
Wow. So NFL has profited a lot.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was like my dad did the props bet for the Super Bowl, and it was like, what was the over-under on how often Taylor Swift was going to be shown? And the over-under was like 6. And I think I counted like 13 times.
Yeah.
Which is funny because the Swifties have this whole
Taylor's number 13.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So maybe that's why they did it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. Marketing geniuses.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I just think that she literally helped. It was her.
Yeah. All along.
It was her all along that helped this NFL movement.
Yeah.
How do you feel about
I mean, imagine if she went to another sport, like, a women's sport, the NWSL or Pro Volleyball Federation or something like that.
Yeah.
Would there be high attendance there as well?
For sure. And because they just want to see her there.
Yeah.
But like, imagine the power that she has, what she could be doing, not just for men's sports, but like, imagine if she went to a female match or game or anything.
Do you think that she'll head over to the KC Current, which is the team that Mahomes co-owns?
Oh, I'm not sure.
I wonder if she'll go there. Because she and Patrick Mahomes' wife, I don't know what her name is, but
I forget too.
They've become sort of, from media perception, besties. So maybe she'll attend.
Interesting.
They also just finished, I believe, their first women's only soccer arena.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I really hope that the Taylor Swift effect, the Swift bump,
Swift bump
happens elsewhere.
Yeah.
And you actually, what were you said you were this last weekend, you went and shot some fun stuff.
Yeah. So I was over at the Coachella Valley Invitational, and it was 4 teams.
For the NWSL?
Yeah. So it was ACFC, Portland Thorns, the new club in San Francisco, the Bay, and San Diego. And it was really, it was a good drive from San Diego. It was about 2.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And you arrive there and it's so hot. And I think to myself, like, there's no way that there are going to be fans here. Who's going to be attending this thing? And I walk onto the fields and it's packed. I was shocked. The commitment from these fans, especially ACFC and San Diego. But yeah, I was like, well, we were talking about this just earlier about how can fans get involved and why are they so committed, and how do we boost women's in sports viewership? And that's one of them. It's showing up.
For sure.
Yeah. And getting involved and reposting and liking and sharing. But every time a player would, I forget, I think it was Christine Sinclair, one of the soccer players from Portland Thorns, and she's walking past the bleachers, and each section was cheering as she was passing by.
Wow.
It was almost as if it was the wave, but it was with cheers. And it was so cool to see that. So I think as long as we get more women involved, I mean, we talked about this with Allison Lee, and just attending sports in general is really helpful.
I mean, and if you can't make it, like tuning in.
Yeah.
Like turning on ESPN and watching the 3-point or competition, or turning on YouTube and watching pro volleyball. Like, you know, I know we're always on our devices, whatever, but we can make an impact.
Yeah, for
however
sure.
little, or drive out to Coachella Valley and
yeah, I went there for photos and videos. I got a media pass, super last minute, and I was like, I gotta go. I gotta go see this because it's, you know, preseason right now, and the USA women's national team is playing in a different tournament right now, which I don't know if you saw. They just lost 2-0 to Mexico,
which was the first time since like 2000
something
since they'd lost on home turf.
So that was a really big upset. And so I think the coach mentioned, or was quoted saying, that this is going to light a fire under them. You know, they're going to come back better than ever, and, you know, motivate them to do better. But yeah, that was shocking. So I was like, let me just go take some photos, get some content. I got to meet my favorite producer, which I'm sure everybody knows who she is at this point. You know who she is, right? Serena, I forget what her last name is, but she's the producer for the 49ers.
Yeah, very cool.
And the Bay hired her to bring her on. As soon as I saw her, I was like, I made a beeline. I go, I have to introduce myself.
Fangirl, yeah.
Oh, you have no idea. I was probably just like jumbling my words, sounding like an idiot, but she's carrying this monster camera, which is called an Ari Alexa, or in her case it's just an Ari something, but it's a true cinema camera.
Oh wow.
And everyone else is with their really tiny cameras that are on here. Like, they're still cinema cameras, but hers are just like the real deal.
That's so cool. One day you're gonna have one of those.
That's like a $90,000 camera.
Oh yeah, one day.
One day. One can only.
First, we just need a drink sponsor.
I know, seriously. If there are any drink sponsors out there, beverages,
we'll drink it every episode.
Yeah.
Take a sip.
We'll do a cheers and
Yeah.
But yeah, so this was great. This is just going to be the two of us. We just want to like touch base with everybody.
Yeah, and I think too, like, I know we're talking about how to make an impact with female sports in general, but you can still make an impact with us too and support. We have merch on the website, really cool swag and stuff. So, plus, like, I mean, I love the name. I know you came up with it, but like, I love the name. Bet on her.
Bet on her.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. But anyway, crazy year 2024. It's already been. We'll see what else happens in women's in sports.
Well, what about your sport?
My sport.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on with my sport?
You, yeah.
With me. I'm on the partner hunt, and our first event's not till the first event I'm at least not playing in is not till May in Huntington Beach. So I have a little bit of time, but it's just the continued name of the game in beach volleyball with dating and trying to partner up.
Do you want to double click on that and talk about that real quick and the stress of it? Do we want to save that for a more serious conversation?
No, it's, you know what, I'll like just touch base real quick, is that it's tough because like I don't want to take things personally, and everybody's just doing what they got to do for themselves. Yeah. And just like I'm doing. Yeah. And I think we kind of talked about it with Kristen when she was in town, of just with people like giving full transparency, fully honest, like good communication, so then we can all kind of figure this out without having to wonder what she's thinking, wonder what they're doing, you know, and then you just get anxious and you get loco en la cabeza.
You don't read people's minds?
Yeah, no. Wish I could. But, you know, I'm just focusing on what I can control. And what I can control right now is I'm continuing to, like, keep doors open where there might be possibilities. And I'm just working my ass off to, you know, stay on top of my game.
Yeah. I have yet to see you on the sand. I haven't been out on the beach.
You got to come out soon.
I know. I got to do that one of these days.
Yeah.
Yes. Is there anything else you wanted to add? This is going to be a really short one, 30-ish minutes or so.
Yeah. No, it was great. I'm glad we could connect and talk about some really cool things going on in the sports realm.
Yeah. And if there's any other sport or any sort of any other stats out there that you want to make us aware of, just tag us on Instagram or send us each a DM. That works as well.
Yeah, we'd love to share it.
Yeah, for sure. And continue to support women in sports, women's sports in general. And if there's any interesting stories out there that you want us to talk about, have people on, you let us know. Right?
Yeah, slide in our DMs.
Slide in our DMs. And that is the Bet on Her podcast.
And good.
Boom. Done.